What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Mean Podcast. This is your first time tuning in. This is a show about average people, you're vain, who do above average things while talking about everyday life. I'm Johnny Kendricks.
And as always, this is B Rivers.
And this is the third of the podcast, okay. Gina Views.
I don't think you should have it right here.
Even though she was tardy.
Gina was 30 minutes late today. What's so bad about it is that we did have guests. Well, we do have guests, and they're right here. And, you know,
they were here before 11, like 10:55.
Yeah, and, you know, whenever we get guests, we never want to just start talking to guests because we're always going to end up getting into stuff we could talk about on the podcast. So you made it a little uncomfortable. So
why do y'all never not highlight when y'all late?
Well, I'm here already.
You know what I mean? You know how many times I got written up for being late?
You know how many times I've been sitting outside
you
of my car?
You gotta talk to.
You know how many times I've been sitting outside of my car and I done came early or on time, and you just pulling up, and then he walks past my car and don't acknowledge me or anything. He don't even like.
Gina, I feel like you can count that many times on one hand.
No, I can count it on two. But whatever, I'm here. Okay. How y'all been?
Man, I'm not a fan of this job right now. I don't do anything. Like, I've literally.
Are you still in training though?
No.
Oh, so you live?
I'm live, and I'm just sitting.
Well, you got a credit union. If you was like at a Bank of America, you'd be dealing with people like all the time. I feel like there's less people who have credit unions than regular banks.
I wouldn't be dealing with anyone regardless, just because I'm in collections. But I do just be peering in niggas' accounts.
You in everybody's business.
I'm in everyone's business. Bruh, niggas be out here with like 8 loans and all of them past due. Mad delinquent. I'm like,
so you out there calling people collecting money?
Nah, I'm watching. I'm not doing anything. But I'm listening to the conversation. But who's letting you still do this? Who's giving you the okay where it's like, yeah, I know you already $80,000 behind, but let's go ahead and sign you up. Let's get that car.
Like if I was a debt collector, I'd be FaceTiming niggas. Like not calling, but FaceTiming. I'm going to see you trying to dodge this bill. I'm pulling up. Show your location.
Well, Brian has a new job.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, we got to talk about this face.
Okay.
Unpleasant.
Who you telling? So, okay, I have a new job.
Do it itch?
It did the first day. I have a new job, and it's very conservative, and I cannot have facial hair, okay? So this is my new look for quite some time. If you look at the backs that these people make, you would do the same thing. Trust me. I can pull it up. You can see. On my lip. Oh, wait a minute now. Usually my facial hair.
She wasn't gonna say nothing.
My nigga, I hate niggas who don't tell you got something on your face.
She was like,
look, if a nigga got a booger hanging out your nose, nigga not gonna say nothing.
No, but look, I don't like when I have something on me and then somebody tells me and I'm just so self-conscious and I'll be like, damn, how long have I had this on me and I just been in all these people's faces with this shit on me. It's better for me to get home and be like, dang, hope ain't nobody seen that.
Hell no, that tells me you ain't got my back. I could be on that whole clip with something just dangling on my lip.
It was little though, they can't see that.
Nigga. But yeah, it's a very conservative job. I've been working for the city. I don't like that you can see everybody's salary any time of the day. You type in their name, their job title, you can see how much money they make.
Brian want to say, nigga, I just started. Give me some time. I can't wait till the first story of someone catching you writing them a ticket.
All right.
I want to see how
I'm
this
a traffic
interaction
officer,
goes.
okay? I'm out with somebody who would run up on me.
Oh, wow. You're a traffic officer.
Traffic officer.
Oh, man, I got some questions.
Okay, wait. But what did you think that he did that required him to cut his facial hair off?
I'm in law enforcement, damn it.
I actually
No, you were.
I didn't
Really
really know.
I'm enforcing parking laws.
Usually that's in the financial industry or banking industry that you got to be like, clean shaven sometimes. You know what I mean? But
no, it's very old school.
Usually.
I kind of forgot. I'm like, dang, where does nigga work?
No, it's very old school. It's very strict right now because I'm in training still, but I'm on probation for like a year, which is very unorthodox. But yes, next week I'll be actually out in the field, so I will be getting yelled at.
Man, I'm waiting.
I'm gonna have a lot of stories to tell, but I don't care. You see how much money I make, they can get all these tickets. I give my mama a goddamn ticket. I don't care. I give her 2-on-1
Today.
So get used to this.
All right. Today we have two very special guests. These are the creators of Thank You LA. I didn't even know that. I did not know that. Wow.
Come on now.
I did not know that was y'all.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to miss us because it's only two of us. So
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shit, that nigga 6'8", so you ain't.
You got to get right up on me to know I'm 6'8" though. On stage, I
He
don't
said
like
sneaky
anybody
6'8".
There ain't no sneaky 6'8".
But y'all got the day party scene cracking. You guys got 88th and 11th Mile going on now. We have Kenway and Alex. Welcome, y'all.
Appreciate it. Thank you
so much.
How'd y'all get the name 88th and 11th Mile?
So the story it's always we get asked a lot, but it's really simple. Honestly, he just buzzed out 11 on the side. No, but 88 11 Mile is really just an intersection of the roads that we grew up on, the intersection of our ideas. So he's from 88th and Crenshaw. I'm from 11 Mile in South of Michigan. So a lot of people that, obviously probably seen 8 Mile, the movie. I'm 3 miles away from 8 Mile. I was raised on 11 Mile, went to school on 7 Mile, and I was also born on 7 Mile. So literally for us, we came out of another team that we were on. And with the creation of Thank You LA, we decided to create a new team name, and we just decided it's just the two of us, and it's literally we always combat each other with ideas and creativity. So it's literally truly an intersection. So 88 by 11 Mile is just basically an intersection of our ideas, creative suggestions, and the roads that we grew up on.
I want to know how you two linked up, because you're from LA, right?
Yeah,
I'm from here.
You told your story last time, or did I tell your story last time?
I mean, it's pretty much always around the same thing. I like to give you guys. I start to give the short version, basically. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nowadays, because as time goes on, I think that the most important things for everybody to understand was that I was DJing and doing my own events out inside of Los Angeles. Alex was in corporate America, and he moved out here, was doing had a job. He saw me DJing at one of the events I put together, from top to bottom, and I'm DJing it and I'm killing it. He walks up to me and is like, "Hey, I want to work. Let's do it." And I give him my number. He happens to be the line brother of somebody I went to high school with. So that's how we kind of connected there. Once he hit me up, told me he wanted to start doing some things, and we just kind of started doing events from there. And then in the beginning of 2017 is when we formed 88th by 11 Mile and started an event series called Thank You LA Brunch and Day Party.
And then before that, we started on, as events in general, we started on Crenshaw and Adams.
Yeah.
We started doing events at this bar called The Living Room. If you've ever seen, was it season 2 on Insecure?
I guess so.
One of the seasons, I think it was the last season.
It was actually the last
when old boy
season,
got picked up from, when Issa was an Uber driver, there was a bar that he got picked up from. That was the exact bar that we started doing our events at.
It's over on Crenshaw and Adams. It ain't hard to find.
Yeah, it's right. What's the soul food spot next door?
Chef Maryland.
Chef Maryland.
Across from Phillips Barbecue, right over there.
Yeah,
that's where we started at, and now we do these big, huge day parties inside of a place called Exchange LA, which is downtown. It's the number 22 club in the world, number 2 in America. So
flex on them.
But the thing is like you guys said, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The only difference is that we didn't quit. So let's just keep going.
How was the first event?
The first event was shitty.
Which one? Which one? Which one do you want to talk about? Which first event?
The first one we ever did.
There are many firsts.
There's actually a couple different firsts. So we did we have our Taco Tuesday type of theme, which is called Mas Vida. We have Alcoholics. We have Thank You LA, of course. Now we have 8811 Day Party. We have so many different events that it's like, which one was the first? So, it makes sense. The one that everybody knows us for, we're famous for, is the Thank You LA brand, though.
Right.
So if you're talking about that first one, then we can talk about that one.
Talk to us about the first event where you faced a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
But the outcome was expected.
Yeah, right. The shitty one. So the first one, honestly, again, it gets very when we speak on it, when I speak on it at least, it's more so not even just the event. Me and Ken both been doing events since we were, teenagers. I was, me coming out of Detroit, I was doing events when I was 16. Started doing events because I needed to buy a laptop to go to Howard University. So I took some money from my open house money, through an event, doubled the money, bought a laptop, and went to school with it. Ken started doing events probably back when.
Back in high school, on Kenway Avenue in
View Park, the house party scene.
Made, young kid making thousands of dollars and DJing at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
So the first event, the reason why it was shitty is because, again, we come from two different backgrounds and two different, just cultural, two different societies, really. You think about it. Him being from the West Coast, me being from the Midwest. We have, at that time, we were just, how do I put it? We were more so.
Why do you think it was shitty at first, though? Like, why do you think? Yeah, why do you think?
You ain't never told me this.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole backstory.
Yeah, no. What do you? I just want to know why you think it was. Because she wants to know like about the, how hard it was.
It's getting there for sure, but you gotta understand the background. You gotta understand the background. So again, it wasn't like that.
No, not like that. No.
I mean, like I said,
a meeting right now.
like I said, you can interpret how you want to interpret, but
Camera's rolling.
you know what I'm saying. But again, we come from two different backgrounds, so. And like honestly, it fits even with our brand. Like literally, our intersection of the name, we clashed a lot. You know what I mean? And when we first started, it was like cool. It was like, all right, let's do this. It's gonna be a good idea, whatever. But initially, like when we first did that event, like I think the very first one, I'm not sure if he pulled up late or not. I'm not sure, but like we were clashing then because it was like
the first one. It wasn't the first one.
All right, so whichever one it was, but like we started clashing on just like our creative ideas and how we like to run events in general. So we only had about that first one. I did like 20 people.
Well, I get
14 people.
Well, the thing is that
I don't know.
And was that the Taco Tuesday?
No, that was at Living Room. That was our first event ever together.
That was the first event ever. But again, like I'm only one person, right? Like I can't do something, all myself, and then I'll have my own perspectives, so I can group think with myself. So I'm not trying new things, doing the things I need to do, yada yada, or having a good perspective about how to just run this, just purely in a business way, right? Like sometimes I'm an artist, so sometimes I get in my artist bag. You know what I mean? It's outside of just being an entrepreneur, which I was, but you need that entrepreneurial like aspect to kind of like be have a lot of gravitas in your decision making. So I think that was that when we were doing those events, we were putting those on. That was the genius that was happening, but you didn't really see it because we couldn't necessarily garner a crowd because people weren't buying into stuff. Like like they weren't buying in yet, and then we didn't learn. There was a lot of things we had to learn along the way. Like we thought that maybe like $5 drinks would get people to come out, or we thought that maybe like free tacos would get.
Part.
You know what I mean?
Niggas don't want to pay for nothing.
So the thing
Finding
was
exactly what they want.
At the end, the end result of all that is us, me and him, going back and forth, talking to each other, really trying to grind it out. Like what does our crowd value? You know what I'm saying? Where do they place value? And once we figured out what they place value on over many different types of steps through many different creative process. And long conversations, arguments, fucking like spouts, all types of shit, you come up with like some things that start to become a thing. And I believe that was what Thank You LA became. Thank You LA was the name behind it, and the brunch and the day party we had. From the beginning of 2016 to the beginning of 2017, we had banged our heads, found different things, so did different things. We figured out like, I think that we was like, this is like a good product for us to put out. Let's just put it out. And even then, like a lot of people don't know that Thank You LA was just supposed to be something that we were just putting on because we were like, fuck, like we got to do something.
That went up.
So you know what I mean? Yeah, we started in February of 2017, and we were just like, like wow, like me and him went hard as hell. We promoted as much as we could, left everything on the table, and brought out like 500, 600 people. We were like, like I think that this is what it is, and that's out the gate. So that's a little bit about the struggles, about what we had and how we formed everything.
Yeah,
we was just in the group chat. Gina just sent the video of that mom in Arizona. Did y'all see that?
I didn't know.
No, we got it. We
just be sending stuff.
No. It's viral right now. The mom from Arizona, her daughter has shoplifted. Not even shoplifted. She walked out with like a little Barbie.
Yeah.
And man, the cop was like, I'll put a fucking cap in your head. Like, first, who talks like that?
What?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
She was pregnant.
Can you pull that video up? We're gonna pull it up real quick so y'all can watch it. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Why?
That's what we're saying. Like, why would someone have like this much anger on them right now?
What is the cause of all this?
So they were at a Walmart. It's the two daughters. The wife is pregnant, and then the husband was with them. While they were walking out of the store, the daughter had a Barbie in her hand. The mom didn't know. So they called the Walmart. Instead of just addressing her, they called the cops. And then the cops pulled up once they got to their destination like that.
Oh, they followed them?
They followed them.
Over a Barbie doll?
Because they got to their destination. Yeah.
I still out of.
But thinking the people at Walmart might have just said, "Yo, it's black people stealing."
Yeah.
Because no
and
matter
they're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, Phoenix.
Yeah, that's,
Phoenix, Arizona.
yeah.
And it's like
Too much.
because we was talking about when they see us too, like how harmful shit like this is. I feel like it's harmful.
Interesting.
What
I
do you
mean,
mean?
it's tough. It's tough. So
What's harmful? What do you mean?
it's
Yeah.
tough.
The actual doc, right?
Yeah, the doc. I feel like the doc is harmful, but at the same time, it's also necessary because it's like some people don't know about this. But I feel even more so, it's more harmful because it's like even if we do know, in some instances, what difference does knowing make?
Wait. So I want to understand what you're bringing to the idea here. The idea is that having these things mass shown, like I'm talking videos like this. Not are you talking about when they see us, or are you talking about
the videos of like watching and policing police?
Right.
Those are important, very
Right.
important.
Okay.
But
You're talking about
I'm calling into question
dramatizations
of these events from the past because all they do is further.
You think
like-
all they do is
Not all they do. Like some people, it is informing them, but it's like
Right.
being informed only goes so far in some cases because we all know the prison system's fucked up. We all know the justice system is fucked up, or police. We know a lot of things are fucked up, but nothing changes.
So we're calling into question,
Yeah, 'cause it
whether
just
or
makes
not
people
it's-
angry.
Whether or not the dramatizations of these things or past events that are traumatic to black folks are
they more harmful, or
are more harmful,
do they
or
help?
are they helpful?
I don't know, cause I feel like you would think that us seeing these kind of things that we would change as a people, in a sense. So like when Nipsey got shot, you know, everybody was coming together, marching, and it was the first march that we saw black people protest against a black killing a black. So what I was led to assume, and I probably was wrong for this, was that we're going to have a safe summer. Nobody's going to be on no type of bullshit. We're going to have a great summer as far as, okay, yeah, we can't control the police. So that it was just a shooting in Willowbrook. But as far as
yesterday too.
Yeah,
DJ.
that's what I was about to bring up.
Yeah.
So
Official.
Producer,
got
I
shot
mean.
by the cops.
So
DJ
it's like I felt like, okay, we're gonna have a safe summer. No LA people gonna be on no bullshit. You know, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're gonna all be able to be at the same pool parties. Everything is gonna be good. Nobody gonna be on that because we just lost a LA legend. And then to hear that DJ Official just got murdered in front of his house, a drive-by shooting is like, niggas still on that, you know? So I just felt like with all that was going on with like police brutality, how we all just seen when they see us with the injustice system, how we all just seen how Nipsey got killed, how we all just seen how the police just killed somebody, how we all just saw how they had the guy hemmed up with all the guns out in Hawthorne. And then it's like, for us to react when the police does something, it's contradicting, because it's like, if I come to your house and it's dirty, I'm going to put my cup on the table and not ask for a coaster because your house dirty. Right. So how can you expect the police to treat us when we're not doing it for ourselves? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Back on us, like we got to change.
You saying it starts with
us. It starts with us.
What do you think, bro?
I didn't think about it in that sense. I like what you said there. But as far as the When They See Us documentary, I don't think that it hurts us to put these things out. I feel like it should be talked about. It should be brought to the forefront.
What
it can
does
bring
it do,
about
though?
some change. For example, I don't know the lady's name. She ended up resigning or whatever. What's her name? Linda. Yeah. She ended up resigning. She might try to sue Netflix. I don't know. But I feel like when we bring these things up, when we talk about it, why would we sweep it under the rug? If we want to forefront and talk about it,
what are the first reactions you see from black people after they watch shows like this?
Black people always say like, "Oh yeah, this makes me mad. I don't want to watch it. It's gonna piss me off." Yes, but what change did it bring? Old girl ended up getting out of office. Whether it be a video, I saw a video recently. There was a white lady working at Old Navy. She was accusing a black lady of stealing a shirt. the black lady started recording her, and she's like, I walked in with this shirt. She still had the tag on her shirt. Maybe she'd come return it. I don't know. But she was still wearing it. She still had the tag on it. She paid for that shirt. Once that video went viral and was brought to the forefront, that lady ended up losing her job for racially profiling the black lady. So when you bring these things out, it is bring about some type of change, getting people out of office, getting people out of certain positions who don't need to be in those positions. That's why they have all these companies doing training or whatever, which it should have been done prior, like racial profile training or whatever.
But it's like, what does that come with?
All right, for sure. Yeah. Now, if you, okay, I just saw one of Spike Lee's movies was up for a for Oscar, a Black Klansman, right? So in it, you know, like I don't want to necessarily like, you know, spoil it for anybody. Go see the movie, but
you got code switch.
But if you look at that movie, you can see how he draws the idea of like, you know, not the struggles of 1970s blacks to seeing that the stuff that they're fighting for is still going on, and still it is not. We still are out here. People are getting killed and having KKK rallies over these things. So the thing is that in that movie, what you learned, if you just look at it as a piece, is like how far have we actually moved. So the thing was, and that was a dramatization. So I think that what we got to talk about here, we have to, you know, because police and the police with recording stuff, you know, Philando Castile, that tragedy, that was so tough, and many countless other names. Like police and police is one thing, but dramatizations I think are another thing. And I think that's what we're trying to more so call a question here, because I think that we can unanimously agree that police and the police and filming them while they're doing the things that they're doing is absolutely necessary. So we know exactly what's going on. What I think about dramatizations, and I'm open to having, you know, to other perspectives like Alex and you guys. What I think about dramatizations is that we absolutely need them. There's this common theme that amongst black folks when it, like, and I want to use the most extreme one, which is 12 Years a Slave, right? 12 Years a Slave. It's hard for black folks to look at it, and even some people call into question, why are these movies still being made? Let's talk about this, and this. This is programming from white folks and stuff like this. Okay, I can address that, but the thing is that if you don't understand your history, you are doomed to repeat it. If you don't understand, if you do not bring it out to the forefront and let people know what is going on and what has gone on, a lot of people don't know. So a lot of people don't know some of the phenomena that was happening. They give you like short versions of it. There's even points. True. Hold on. True. There's even class textbooks that are saying that, oh no, the Africans just came over here and then they started working. Like, bro, there's literally I've seen videos and shown me textbooks that are like that. No, you're not going to be able to rewrite history. I don't care how long it takes, how long it's after the fact. We're going to tell people exactly and dramatize what has happened and show you what's going on. And even though for our community, it may be a thing where, and this is where I think that you're at. In our community, it's like, man, like I'm numb. I am numb. I'm tired of seeing this. I want to see images of something else. I want to see images of more positive things, right? More Django. Right. Yeah. You want to see more. You know. You want to get outside of that. Yeah. But the thing is with the dramatizations, I think that the dramatizations are now a piece of art that can live on for a long time. We still look at Roots. We still look at Boys in the Hood.
How do you feel we know that those things are serious?
When I look at Roots or Boys in the Hood or anything in between, like I was just looking at a lot of different things. What Love Got to Do with It. Last night I just watched that like again. Like some of the themes that's happening inside of it, how I feel about it is that these things are great snapshots in time to show. And then if you look at the totality of our existence inside of America, those dramatizations actually help us fill in the blanks, because a lot of those dramatizations are held by black folks, and they're not sugarcoating none of that shit. And Boys in the Hood, they're not sugarcoating a lot of things. John Singleton wasn't. Menace to Society. These are real mentalities that was happening in our hood. And so like, even though that those things are traumatic to us and kind of show this negative side to us, it was also showing the truth. And at that point in time, we need to realize when that was made, that picture piece, I mean that timepiece was there and that was happening. So if you can look at those things and go back and have somebody who's coming up, a young black kid who don't know nothing about the 90s, who don't know nothing, but you go and show them that those type of movies, you be like, yo, like that was actually going on, and why was those things going on inside of that same? I don't
have a problem with movies like that though.
Yeah,
but I feel like those movies further back, I mean, of course they do serve their purpose, but it seems like if we think like that, it's like, oh well, put the onus on someone else to teach the history. And to go back to what Gina said, I feel like it does have to be more of a responsibility because black people, they have to be aware that no, we're not going to get the education that we should get. So that goes back to just putting more like onus on the parents because they have to do more to educate them on this instead of just waiting for a movie. And then when you see the movie, it's like you're enraged instead of like already knowing that this has been going on for a long time. So when I see these movies, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I know. But that's because I've been reading about this history. And I think it's more so like that snapshot will enrage you in that moment instead of like knowing like that it's been this way. You get me? Like I get what you're saying. And I think I
feel like we need to watch it, and if you feel some type of emotions, feel those emotions, go through those emotions, and then I will ask you, what are you going to do about it? Not saying violence or anything, or doing shit like that. That'd be fucked up. But what are you going to change? What are you going to bring to the table to bring forth these things that have happened and change things for the future? What's her name? Ava DuVernay. She the one who directed When They See Us. She did 13th on Netflix. She's bringing these stories to the forefront. I feel like knowledge is power, and we have to know these things. You know, how many people watch When They See Us and it was like, oh, I had no idea this happened. I had heard about it, but I didn't know the ins and outs of what happened. I started going back looking at all the tapes that they actually recorded with them.
That happens.
You know, it's knowledge is power, man. I feel like if we don't see these things, people want those things swept under the rug. You remember when Birth of a Nation came out? The guy who directed it, Nate Parker.
Yeah.
As soon as he brought this story out to the forefront,
people
in like higher places, some white folks or whatever, were pissed off. They start bringing out things of his past, like, oh, he said this about gay people. Oh, he might have raped this woman.
Right, exactly.
He didn't rape her or whatever. He went to court for that. They start bringing out these things. So they didn't want these stories put out to the forefront. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. It's definitely needed. Yeah. It is needed.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's so yes, while to our community it is like very it kind of draws on this trauma that we have like deep seated inside of us that I believe is there. Like it's like damn, like when I see the whips and you know I hear like or if you go to like you know Jim Crow era movies where you're talking about nigga this, nigga that, oh nigga get out of here, nigger whatever. You know what I mean? When you hear that, you kind of like feel like, okay, this is real. Like, why am I feeling away? And it kind of brings up a lot of different things. And then you know fast forward to today with this idea of social justice and injustice inside of the court system and justice system for black folks. It's going to draw on very emotional reactions to you. So the thing is that I believe that those things are needed.
I mean, there's lots to unpack. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, my like thesis answer, I think is absolutely necessary to have these showings or dramatizations put out. So if you think about it, I mean, even if you date back 50 years ago, like this year marks the 50-year anniversary of what J. Edgar Hoover said about the national threats of America. The number one threat of America was Negro unity. Right, so when you have the death of Nipsey Hussle, when you have these dramatizations coming out, what did it do? Yeah, it might create such of a scare, or it's not a scare. It might create a little trauma, but again, it starts to bond the black people together, right? Because when Nipsey Hussle died, people all over were looking at it like, damn, he was a really great guy. He did this, he did that. He was doing this for the community, and these examples started to pour into other communities that this is how we should live, this is how we should be. And when They See Us came out, obviously, you know, it was, again, some people might look at it as a horror movie, but if you really think about it, it's no different than any day on the street regularly. Like us four black men right now can go to the corner store and that exact same thing can happen. Somebody like a police car could pull up
False
and be like, these
accusation.
4 kids fit this. They fit this whatever this outlet we're looking for description. And now you have Witness CS Part 2, right? So it's not like the fact that the movie comes out. I'm just saying, but like,
this is real.
I
mean, we can laugh it off because we inside the culture,
real.
but bro, it's real.
I had that moment in college, dude. Luckily, nothing happened. I'll tell the story on the podcast before. It was years ago. I went to Cal State Northridge or whatever. I was coming back from this paint party. They was throwing paint on everybody. Some weird shit.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 a.m. The shit was popping up. It was like 2 a.m. I'm literally back on. What?
I said idea.
Oh, I'm literally back on campus, and I'm walking to my dorm, and 3 cops approached me. They're like, "Hey, where you going?" I'm like, going to my dorm.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, they said that there's been some issues at the community center. I'm like, oh, okay, they ain't nothing to do with me. And then they asked to see my ID. So I'm like, whatever. Here's my ID. They take it back to the community center and talk to a girl in there. He comes back out and says, she said it was you. I'm like, I literally just pulled up, so it wasn't me.
Wow, they did all that?
Yeah, they literally said it was you. And I was like, what the fuck? They gave me back my ID. They said, go into your dorm, but if you go back to the community center, we're going to come back and we're going to have to do something. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So now I end up going back in, and my uncle who just retired from LAPD now, he was like, oh, what's their badge number? What's their information? And I didn't have it at the time. It was like 2 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. But the same thing could have happened then. Like, oh, it was you. Let's go. You know?
They did. I definitely had that happen
too.
I did. Like I was walking on DePaul's campus one night, and that they did the same exact thing to me. It was like, yo, you fit the description of somebody. Like, let me see your ID. And I'm like, bro, like I'm going to school. Like, what are y'all? Like, here's like what? Like, huh? It was just wild. It was just wild. But
everybody has a story,
right? Everybody got that.
It's a thing of like the fact
that's
that
crazy.
It's not necessarily harmful when it's the truth, right? I mean, when you really look at the situation, at the end of the day, it is everyday life for us as black men. But again, these dramatizations, they're not necessarily for you, to be completely honest. At the end of the day, you live that life every day. It's not really based for you. So if you look at our generation and if you date back to the earlier generations, there's always a certain medium of communication that engages all people. Right, so if you look back to the Jim Crow days and back at those times, the one mode of communication that was I guess on the same plane for everybody was money. It was economic power, because at that time America was starting to emerge as the most powerful country in the world, and so with all of our GDP being the largest in the world, money at that time was a great equalizer. Right, so a lot of black people were like, well, fuck that, we're not gonna keep spending money and helping them build their dream. We're gonna start protesting, and at that moment, that's when the country started getting aware, like, oh shit, like, why are they doing this? Why are we missing out on money here and there? And so each generation, there's a mode of communication that allows everybody to see this problem or see the success on one equal playing field. And so for ours, it's content. So a lot of people might look at it and say, like, oh, this is bad content. Why are we watching movies like this? But that content allowed every single person from every different culture to say, oh, this is fucked up. And the fact that makes it even stick further closer to home is that it's a true story. So then when you look back into history, it's not like the history was changing. A dramatization is never a lie. It's just taking the truth and finding ways to be able to engage and connect with whoever that listener or viewer might be. So these things are things that happen every day. And I think that when they see us, it allows everybody to use content, because everybody's on Instagram and Facebook and all these different, playing fields of social media. It allows every person to watch that a piece of content for what it is and what the message might be. Right. Now, again, there's always multiple sides of the story. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, even when we feel like it's an injustice on us, there's other sides of the story which we could have played part in. You know what I mean? Like, again, even a lot of the police brutality that we see, in some cases, not many, but in some cases, it's like, well, damn, if he had just did this or did that, the trajectory of that event might change. We can't always just say, like, oh, all blame is on cops, because there are many great cops out here. Yeah. There are many cops that are like, bro, I'm being very patient with you. I'm just trying to tell you to sit down, and you swung on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like a thing of that, like, again, when they see us, or when you see, 13th or any of these things, it's not necessarily for you, because you know the history. You've been there. You've seen it. And sometimes
we don't know, but most of the time it's not just for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, like, this is our voice, right? Like, it gives us a voice. Ava DuVernay, right? Like, it's a voice out of our community that is projecting these ideas, right? We need those.
Yo, look on Twitter. So you see every other race.
The creation of hip hop, it was a mode of communication. At that time, they were going through so much poverty within the Bronx, and there were so many things that were happening that wouldn't allow them to be able to voice their opinion, that they just started doing on wax. You know what I mean? And that became the number one genre. And now you get to hear all these different stories from all these different cultures through the medium of music. And music is now the equalizer, or now the playing field that everybody can appreciate. You have these hip hop concerts where Chance the Rapper might play Hollywood Palladium, and it's 90% white. And he's not talking about anything that's related to the upbringing of a young white child. But again, music is the equal playing field for all people. So to go back to what you say, I think When They See Us is absolutely needed, as if 42, the story of Jackie Robinson, or the story of Malcolm X. All of these stories are absolutely needed because it's a piece of content, or it's a visual that everyone can see on the equal playing field, and then they can step out of their bias and make a fair judgment. Right, because there are many white people that probably saw, or probably that even lived in that time. That time was April 1889. I was born in October 89. So there are many people that you went to school with, that might have been your professors, that remember that time in live time, right? And based on that, When They See Us, it allows you to put it more in perspective of, like, oh shit, now that I'm older,
a whole nother perspective.
Exactly. When you watch Lion King at age 5, as opposed to 21, at age 5, it's like, oh, it's a cool character, it's lions, whatever. That's how you might see it. But at 21, it's Lion King. The theme of Lion King is just a cycle of life. You know what I mean? When you look at Mufasa to Simba to when he gets married, he becomes a king and he takes over that kingdom. It's a cycle of life, and everything keeps going. You know what I mean? So it's a thing of like.
I just always when I think about the idea that you posed, I always think about the ending quote of Boys in the Hood. Either they don't know, don't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood. Now, the idea there is to think about who is he talking to, and who is the they. You see what I'm saying? Like who does he want to get that message to? To us? Oh, we know that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We know that. Yeah. But that message resonates, or should resonate, with somebody who's outside of our community.
I think it's so important that you guys have said that movie wasn't necessarily for us, but it's for other people. Right. I didn't think about that when I was watching it, but
because it's a horror movie. Exactly. At the end of the day, for us, you know what I mean. When you watch it, you like, oh, because again, everybody has an experience where they're like, fuck, it was me and my 4 homies, and we was just chilling, and that shit transpired, and you were like, oh fuck. So for me, when I watched it, I cried within the first 25 minutes. Yeah, because I remember, being that young and knowing that, and again, you even look back to the black mothers, and you look at the single mothers, and you look at these parents that weren't as educated, didn't know what their rights were, didn't know the code of how it worked. That's just the ignorance of the situation. But
I was having a conversation with this girl I work with. She's mixed with black and white. Yeah, mom's very white, dad's black. Dad's never been in the picture at all. When you see her, she's mixed black girl.
Right, for sure.
And I think she's like 23, something like that. Yeah. She went to college, but she didn't know what an HBCU was. Right. She had no idea what it was. She grew up with her mom, all white family, all cousins white, only child. And I'm sitting there looking at her, I'm like, how could you not know what an HBCU is? But I thought about her upbringing, and it also made me think about people who are just all white, not mixed with black at all, and who aren't around any black people. They don't know any of this stuff. I'm like, damn, that is very true. We might see something and someone say, I didn't know about that. And we think like, how you not know about that? Like, everybody know about that. Like, no. You're black, so yes, you know about that, but the other people don't know. So it's just appealing to our culture.
A lot of people wouldn't even know that some HBCUs are predominantly white. Like some people don't even know that. Like you know what I mean?
She said, she said, I didn't know that. She was like, why aren't they called ABCs, like all black colleges? So it's like, well, you have people who aren't black who go there, but she had no idea what an HBCU was until like 2 days ago.
Right. Like at the end of the day, it's all it's all about the playing field, right? There are many black kids that have no idea the word conversate is not a word. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's literally about being well-rounded. And I think what's happening in our generation.
What you just say?
I think our generation with content is allowing people to be well-rounded. Because now you're able to take a look into different cultures from your living room, from your couch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, again, a lot of people that literally that never even knew, didn't know about the INSA or Central Park 5, like now they're well versed on what happened. And I'm sure the more educated people are going to take a deeper look and actually read like the litigation and all that type of stuff.
I'm gonna give a little pushback on that idea that we have, now we have this content and now people should see it. Oh, we've been having this content for a long time, though, my people. We've been having this type stuff going out. Yeah. They've been trying to tell and put this stuff out. And it is not necessarily just for us. now we're getting inside. It's getting worse to the point where now our algorithms on our social media is only cutting us to certain issues.
It goes
that we
right.
believe.
It goes right to that.
So while this should be something that everybody's looking at, people are now starting to say like, no, well, that's not on my list to look at, and I don't see it like that because I'm interested in conservatism, Trump. And taxes on the rich people. Like I'm interested in that stuff. Yeah. So why am I not seeing these things? And so we're saying like, yo, like they don't know, they don't see it. But what's happening nowadays is now we're starting to become so tribal and staying inside of our tribes that ideas that are outside of our tribe are just absolutely not, are absolutely just not like something that we subscribe to if it's not of our tribe. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem with now today. Like those things should be seen by other people or seen by other folks, but like we're so tribal now and we're so closed-minded. We're getting more closed-minded as a society. How did that happen in 2019 with all the advent of social media? And it's supposed to be internet. It's supposed to be this.
I think social media plays to it though, because those algorithms also put you in the same things that you only like.
Yeah, for sure.
On my feed, I only see basketball, drums. That's it.
For real.
In shoes.
No,
like that's all I see. So I don't see anything outside of that.
So the thing is that that's a for-profit thing.
Yeah.
Because if we just saw everything that everybody posted, then Facebook would be like, well, my nigga, like honestly, like I can't make money off of that.
Yeah.
I have to put certain things in front of somebody and see what their interests are, then put that in front of them, then I can take that information and then be able to sell it.
It's just like Netflix and Hulu. As soon as you sign up, it says, what are you interested in? And you pick the things that you're interested in. And then once you're done, that's all you see. You don't see nothing new. You don't see nothing outside of your ordinary, unless it's some huge, big thing. And
but social media promotes groupthink. Anytime, just think about when someone gets canceled.
Right.
They'll put it out there and then everyone at the same time says, oh, no, we're done with them.
Right.
And it doesn't offer another side of the story for someone to be like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. We didn't know about that. So, it does both, like you said.
But if
you're in control of it, though.
But if you take,
that's the thing.
Absolutely right.
That's
you are in control of it.
People don't like to accept.
But the endless scroll thing, it plays with your brain.
Tough.
You know what's interesting? Some of the makers of all these social media apps said that they want to let their kids use it
because they know.
They already know how they. I forgot which one was doing the talk, but they said they're not gonna let their child use any of that social media.
Bro, they know for a fact that they play to your psychological weaknesses.
It's that dopamine that they keep.
Yeah, they know they're gonna give you an extra hit, and it's a lot, man. We get
it is. But if you even take that idea and just take it from social media and start saying like, all right, like let's look at major news networks. Major news networks do the exact same thing. There's things that are happening in the world that you should know, but they're like literally like. On Fox News, right, which is the biggest, example of all, like literally Obama will be having something going on as far as it's like something positive, and they'll be talking about something going on somewhere else. It's not even really that relevant. But how? It just has to do with the idea that people are just so into their tribes, and that we have powers that be that want us to stay inside of our tribes. So because if we unify and start seeing like, oh, actually the idea that's all happening here is that corporate interests are influencing everything. And they're like big money. They want to keep their money. Coming right all the way back down to what we were talking about. You definitely want to have those dramatizations out in the media for sure, without a doubt.
You do.
I feel like speaking on social media, what are we? Generation X?
Millennials.
Us, we are.
So we're generation.
Well, they're.
So what am I?
Well, were you born?
No, I'm saying
93.
us. It's 95 and after, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like
95 and after.
95 or 96 is like not.
Well, anyway, the cancel generation. I feel like
that's very dangerous, man.
I feel like we're responsible for bringing awareness to a lot of things, because if you think about it, a lot of issues that are coming up are things that our parents dealt with and everybody was silent to. Right. So when you think about the whole R. Kelly situation,
ask you a question.
What?
Do you listen to R. Kelly?
Yes.
You still listen to R. Kelly?
No.
Why?
Because I can't listen to him without thinking about the music being influenced by him fucking kids.
Okay. Well,
I can't separate it.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just curious.
I can't even listen to Fab no more after he supposedly beat his girlfriend.
You can't listen. You can't listen to Fab.
No, that's my favorite rapper.
You don't listen to Fab?
I'm like a
That's
diehard
interesting.
Fab fan, and I'll catch myself like dibbling and dabbling, but then I'll be like, man, I had to turn this shit off.
If you make a mistake in life, people cancel you. You
No,
understood that?
I have a reason. My sister was murdered in a domestic violence relationship.
Right.
So how I feel about it is, if I'm advocating for Fab and listening to Fab, how can I be for what my sister went through? You know.
Yeah,
So it's just something that's it's so basically saying that it was something so traumatic to you that it now just permeates every single aspect of him doing anything. So but I think that when you call into question cancel culture versus your unique experience, I think that there's a difference there, right? Like we're talking about being for sure.
So I think that we're responsible for bringing so much awareness to things that like have happened, because our parents, the things that are surfacing now are the same things that our parents experienced.
Right.
As far as the whole R. Kelly thing,
right,
where what we're counseling him for now is the same tape from way back in, what was that, 2001?
Right.
You know, what we're looking at him funny for now, it's the same stuff. It's the same things that we've been hearing. It's the same shit.
Right.
To where when you was sitting up, what did he drop after the whole rape? It was Step in the Name of Love.
Chocolate out.
I knew everything he did, and I was still listening to TP2. That's my favorite album.
Right.
But like now we're at it's an era where it's public. It's popular to, you know, cancel people and stuff.
It is.
But I feel like we're responsible for so much. I can't think of her name. What's her name? Fuck, we don't need to know her name. Linda. Whatever her last name is. Yeah.
Fairstein.
Something like that. It was a documentary about the park situation in 2013.
It was.
This was big in
that came out on
2002.
Amazon Prime.
You know, but at the same time, we were younger or kid. I was in like second grade in 2002.
Right.
But
wait, what? What'd you say?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You was second grade to win?
In 2002.
Wow.
Or fourth grade, something like that. Anyways, I was in elementary.
Got you.
But just that was something
Right,
that
like,
was
wait,
talked about, and our parents weren't like, oh, let's get her out of office, you know?
Right,
but I feel
right.
social media has its pros, because anytime somebody do some fuck shit, we gonna go in on them.
Yeah.
And if it's coming to the point where it's people getting put out of office, people are getting fired from their jobs or stepping down, you know.
But
I don't know, I think
I
feel like we bring our era, because we're all a part of it, no matter what year when we all have Twitter right now or Instagram, whatever.
Right.
We bring awareness to it. So social media has this, like, you know, the cons of it. Where,
I mean, every does have cons.
Yeah, where we probably stuck, because that's why I was late. To be honest with you, I sat on my phone for a little while, you know. But
thought you were washing your hair.
Wow.
I was doing that too, but in the midst of
multitasking.
I had the cellophane sitting, but I was going down my timeline.
Understood.
But it's like, I don't know. I think
it's a great equalizer, for sure. But cancel
yeah.
culture to me is very dangerous.
Yes.
Very, very, very dangerous.
It's
I
like-
think it's a thing of, like, for instance, people, if you really looked at when you look at cancel culture, I based on your personal experience, I think that's absolutely fine. That's admirable, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I have a problem with is when people try to like force cancel culture on other people, and they try to bash people like, oh, you're a shitty person because you listen to R. Kelly. And at the end of the day, like, the way I look at it, even like Kodak Black and Lauren London's situation, at the end of the day, that black man still has that much more time in his life, and that person can transition to a completely different person.
Right.
Malcolm X wouldn't be who he was if he wasn't Detroit Red. You know what I mean?
But like how you said, cancel culture is dangerous.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but also the cancel culture, we don't stand on canceling someone.
No, we don't. Absolutely not.
We don't.
You're right. Absolutely
so,
not. Right.
Yeah, if like what you're saying, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King wouldn't existed, but we're, as black people, we're forgiving.
Yeah.
I think that the court of public opinion is what's so dangerous, because, like we said, they just look at the headlines. They don't do their own research for themselves. It should be innocent until proven actually guilty.
Yeah.
That's the issue with cancel culture. I feel like it can work in some ways. I feel like we should have canceled R. Kelly because of things that he did years ago.
Right.
But people get carried away because of the court of public opinion. That's why cancel culture is so dangerous. So I don't know if we can fully implement that style of canceling or unsubscribing from people. But I think that it's the society's job, or should be, to actually wait and hear all the details before springing on to, oh, fuck him, he's done. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's look at it this way then. Let's put it in perspective, right? So Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace to that great legend himself. But
for sure.
Nipsey Hussle, he took out $1 million life policy on himself, and he had basically obviously created this net worth that was allowed to, or were able to care for his family, his children, everybody comes after him.
And a lot of other people too.
Nipsey Hussle is an amazing person, right? He did that, and again, that money has been able to flood into his family, right? So when you look at the cancel culture, right? Let's say you cancel R. Kelly completely. R. Kelly is one of the, statistically, and just based on writing, I mean, a lot of the records you guys love, R. Kelly wrote. Bump, Bump, Bump by B2K. People went to B2K concert not knowing he wrote that whole record. He wrote...
taking out the song, too.
They knew.
But I'm just saying,
they didn't give a fuck, because the documentary was out by the time the concert came.
Word. So what I'm just saying in general, but the one statement I'm saying is when I compare Nipsey Hussle in his situation, you also, when we talk about this cancel culture, you got to look at it. Yeah, you might cancel the man, but you got to realize that man is a breadwinner of an entire generation. Mm-hmm. So when people start stripping this music off of Apple Music and Spotify and all of that, now those kids that are under R. Kelly, or now the cousins, the aunt, the mom, whoever, who might be amazing people, who might be able to say, oh, you know what, R. Kelly has done whatever, but I can take this money and I can be able to help the next generation of black people come up. Now, when that happens, that money stops, right? Eric Holder killing Nipsey Hussle, although the marathon will continue, but it won't continue at a trajectory if Nipsey was here, right? So that money now slows up a little bit as opposed to him being here. Imagine if you cancel... Prince Apollonia, they say domestic violence, you cancel Prince, that money stops there. Michael Jackson with the whole allegations, that money stops there. And with all
Cosby,
all of these black legends that we have,
and you can say go ahead.
As all these black legends, with the generations that are coming up behind them as we progress, we're only halting our own growth. And I'm not saying that R. Kelly is let him slide up, whatever. But what I'm saying is when we take that cancel culture into again, how you affect generations after them, I think we're hurting ourselves. And I guarantee you, any of these how would you call it? I guess the Khaled days, they're watching fuck yeah, do that, cancel all that shit, because you guys are getting too powerful at that time, and we can't stop that because now it's an equal playing field where we have these many amount of millionaires that are setting up the next generation. And I think when you have that situation, it creates this paradigm where it's you're still under control and you're controlling yourself in a negative way. And so I think that you got to look at it in its totality. You know what I mean? So I can understand how somebody say, I don't listen to R. Kelly, I don't like that person, whatever the case may be. I understand that. But again, he is a black millionaire or a black multimillionaire for so many other people that lead up to him. People that love Meek Mill will hear him say all the time, I feed my family, my cousins, my mother, all of that. And so I think when you look at that, you got to take that into totality. You know what I mean? So again, with Nipsey being as great as he was, and R. Kelly being as shitty as he might be, at the end of the day, these next generations coming up out of those families are going to be able to propel the black community. And again, when you have that kind of control on us, we can never elevate. You know what I mean? So it's a thing of and then you have that situation, but then you look at Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley married a girl at 14, but nobody talks about Elvis Presley. Ron Howard was doing a lot of crazy shit he was doing. Nobody really talks about that. What's my guy's name? Weinstein. He just literally his civil crimes. He just got it's just a settlement. But that's getting swept under the rug.
Right, Jeffrey Epstein.
All these people, but we're attacking our own legends. We got to be the superheroes, do this, that, and the third. But it's which I understand. But again, I'm not going to cancel any black man or any person in our community. Will I look at that person a different way? Absolutely. Will I be his best friend? Fuck no. But at the end of the day, that money or that prowess can still help elevate our community to the next level. So I think you just got to look at it in its totality. I'm not saying in the way.
It's tough, man. I think
I'm not saying that you make a decision, but I am saying again, our generation, like you said, is headline culture where people are not even. They're lazy. They don't want to read the small print. They just want to read Beyonce slap the shit out of Jay-Z, and that's it. Instead of reading what really happened or what transpired, why did that happen? And so we got to start to look into things that is totality and then make your decision. Like Gina said, she can't support R. Kelly because it's a valid reason, right? You ask the average person why they can't support R. Kelly or why they don't like R. Kelly, but I saw the documentary. Well, that documentary was made. They had so many different stories that was against R. Kelly, right? And there was there's no other side of the story. So I'm not saying don't make your decision, but I'm saying when you talk to somebody about why you cancel somebody, look at the totality of it. So that when you make that decision, it's a valid decision.
Yeah.
And it doesn't harm our elevation of it as a people, but it also it empowers it, because now we know how we should treat each other, how we should move. So I think that's why I think cancel culture.
It's always a balance.
Absolutely.
We gotta get out of here. We're gonna be talking all day. This is a wonderful, this is one of the best conversations we had.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
We get that a lot.
Y'all not cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Anything else we need to drop?
Gina, talk about your shit.
Well, catch new episodes of the Mean Podcast every Wednesday.